So, hello everyone. Today we have Madam Shipra with us. Madam Shipra Mishra has been a lot in her career. She is also right now the CEO and director of Drive, DRIIV, which is particularly centric to research. Right. So, how are you, ma'am, today?
Very well, thank you.
You are doing great.
Yeah, quite excited to be
Quite
a part
excited.
of this InnoHEALth conference.
Yeah. So since you are here, I just drew my attention on you and thought of taking you in the podcast because I was eagerly waiting for you since the morning itself. So since Madam Shipra has done so much in her career, I'll directly start up with some questions with her. So you guys can also listen to the questions and get some knowledge about this. So, Madam Shipra, you have done all the you have crossed all the milestones up till now, right? Be it in research, be it talking about climate change, global warming, be it waste management, water management. First of all, what is the loveliest topic you would like to talk about initially?
Okay, I think I would like to take a step back and describe to the audience what Drive is, so that
Right.
they get a sense of what we are going to
Sure,
talk
sure,
about
sure,
in future.
sure.
So, a Drive, which basically stands for Delhi Research, Implementation and Innovation, it's an initiative of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India on the recommendation of the Prime Minister Science, Technology and Innovation Advisory Council.
Right.
Right. Now, the idea of so this is a science and technology cluster which is designed to bring together various components that can make the innovation ecosystem. For example, government bodies, industry, academia, and anybody and everybody who can take a solution from lab to market.
Right.
So that's what Drive is about. We are working on 8 thematic areas that are
Right.
aligned with national missions and UN SDGs. They range from waste to wealth, water security, air pollution, AI ML in healthcare, e-mobility, effective education. So all of these are areas of interest to us.
Since you talked about AI and ML, and we are totally centric to digital health right now. So, what is that people are doing in AI or ML nowadays in terms of health or dietation in health?
Right. So, one very shiny example that comes out of the cluster, in terms of the research work, is genomic sequencing.
Right.
So, the researchers, Professor Tapritesh Sethi from IIIT, they have developed an NDHM compliant platform on top of which various AI ML models can sit, and they can detect any spike in the infection up to 2 months in advance.
Right.
Due to genomic sequencing.
Right.
And that is a very significant progress, because that gives enough lead time to policymakers to make any to take any corrective actions, as
Right.
we've seen in the case of COVID. And these models are not just limited to COVID, but can be applied to any infectious diseases.
Right.
And there is a lot of interest from the outside world and from the funding agencies as well, in order to support this kind of research and take it forward.
This was the first time I was hearing this because India has never been a country which has been centric to prevention. We are more thoughtful about curing a disease instead of prevention. We have never thought of it at that side. So is it after the COVID that you guys thought of doing this, or before the COVID itself?
No, I think there is a much bigger point here rather than just limiting to COVID. I think the mindset in India has changed.
Right.
So I'm returning back to India after 16 years. I've lived mostly in the UK, and there's a huge difference in before I left versus now.
Right.
I see a more proactive approach in people in trying to tackle bigger problems.
Right.
And that is the mindset shift that I have observed. Obviously, this particular incident is kind directly be linked to COVID, but when these clusters came about, a lot of thought process has gone behind it even before that. So these are pre-COVID kind of mindsets that are now fructifying. Right.
So, ma'am, since you're coming to India after so long, I'd also like to ask you one thing since you are also working on UN SDGs, right? So, how are you integrating the technology into UN SDGs? Is there any kind of motive towards it, any kind of goal towards integrating technology towards it, or you are just restricted to integrating technology itself, nothing else?
No, no. So this is a very very pertinent question,
Mhm.
right? So when we talk of technology,
Mhm.
technology in itself is nothing unless it's applied in a way that's useful to society,
Right.
right? So the whole objective of these clusters is to solve environmental and societal problems leveraging technology.
Right.
Like India aspires to be a $5 trillion economy in a
Right,
couple of
ma'am.
years, right? But that has to be done sustainably. And
Right.
as we preside G20, we
Mm.
can't shy away from our responsibilities.
Right.
So the approach we take, that all these solutions that come out using technology need to be applicable in real world situation. I'll give you a small example.
Right.
Right. So if we take waste management, for
Mhm.
example, right? You see, we are sitting in Delhi NCR right now, and there are huge piles of landfills around everywhere.
Right, ma'am.
Right now, this creates a huge problem, otherwise also, and particularly health related problems as well.
Right.
So now, in order to solve this, we have to go back to core R&D, which is not just digital technology.
Right.
It is core R&D using chemical engineering, using other branches of engineering to bring down that pile of rubbish.
Right.
And there are several technologies that exist. One, very successful technology that coming out of the cluster is plasma pyrolysis plant.
Right.
That has been deployed in Jafrabad.
Mm.
Similar decentralized approaches need to be taken near landfills where they can be addressed. Not only there, when we talk of environment, we talk of green energy also. It's a
Right.
very important component because we can't be relying on fossil fuels.
Right.
One is the resource is depleting. Second, huge environmental impact, right? So, in order to switch from fossil fuel to green energy, so the waste can be converted into energy. So all
Mhm.
that municipal solid waste that's coming, that's lying in
Mhm.
landfills. These technologies, convert that solid waste into gases that can be harnessed, and hydrogen can be extracted from them and bottled, and can be used as a primary source of energy rather
Mhm.
than coal-based fuel.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that is one.
So, ma'am, since you talked about this as well, do you think, first of all, SDGs would be met till 2030? And second of all, if we are talking about the climate change, the piles, the one thing that I'm hearing a lot nowadays is sustainability. Hashtag sustainability is everywhere, right? So people are also talking about that technology cannot be sustainable, right? If you are integrating technology to anything, it cannot be sustainable at all. So what is your views upon this? Can technology also create sustainability or not?
I will turn the question around and give you an example of how we are approaching solutions.
Right.
Right. Now, technology has always been an enabler.
Mhm.
Right. Ultimately, it's you and I who kind of either make or break the planet.
Right.
Right. It's about how we use the technology.
Right.
Now, what we are doing is we have collaborated with public bodies, with corporates, and with anybody who can provide piloting opportunities for testing this out. If you stick to the example of waste management, we have collaborated with Gurugram Metropolitan Development Authority,
Mhm.
GMTA, and MCG, Municipal Corporation of Gurugram,
Right, ma'am.
Haryana Pollution Control Board, all of these bodies,
Mhm.
to take use cases from them, not just limited to waste management, but also water security, air pollution, traffic problems, e-mobility, healthcare, right? Taking problem statements from them and then looking at solutions, whether they come from researchers, whether they come from startups, whether
Mhm.
it's a corporate-led initiative, or whether it's a collaborative effort from all
Mhm.
these people. We deploy those solutions as a pilot and see what is working and what is not working.
Right.
Right. And then whatever is working, we need to scale it up. I'll give you an example. So, for example, air pollution,
Mhm.
right? It's a huge problem, particularly in the winter months in Delhi
Right.
NCR. Now, one approach is to look at technologies that can mitigate PM levels
Right.
than what they are, right?
Right.
That is kind of a short-term approach to it.
A short-term
right?
approach, yeah.
what is a longer term view? Longer term view is looking at what are the main sources of pollution and how can we control them,
Right.
right? Sticking to air pollution and combining it with waste management.
Right.
So we have as part of this partnership with GMTA and MCG, we are piloting a few technologies that directly bring down the PM levels, not just at domestic level, not just at traffic junctions, but also at industrial level, where the PM levels are 700,
Right.
and they using these technological deployments, these
Right.
interventions, these devices, they can be brought down to below 200, which is still not acceptable, but at least from 700 substantial
yeah.
reduction,
Right.
right? So that is one immediate firefighting approach. In the long term, we are also working on technologies, right? And a number of technologies exist, and we are working on improving them in addressing the core source problem. For example, parali, stubble burning, right? So it's one thing to say, okay, so ban stubble burning, don't let anybody burn it, right? But you need to provide alternatives.
Right.
Otherwise, what else will people do?
They are not educated, they'll do that only.
They will do that. So one is, okay, you can do your awareness and all of that, but then there has to be an enabling environment which will kind of incentivize people not to do that.
Right.
So wherein comes the concept of waste to wealth, as well as a circular economy. So if you create value, so whatever stubble is coming out of it, okay, so one direct use is fodder feed, it can be used as fodder feed,
Right.
but it can be used for much more valuable purposes as well. Stubble can be converted into fuel, right? We are talking about more sustainable fuel. This is another form of more sustainable fuel.
Right.
Then it can be converted into biochar and biomass, and has a number of other acoustic applications in the automobile sector. So all these technologies, if they can be scaled up, there are lab scale solutions that exist. But if with the help of corporate partners and with the help of public bodies, if they can be scaled up and business models can be developed for startups to intervene and take these forward, then you would not have to worry about these problems.
Right.
Automatically, the market forces will come and intervene.
Right.
So this is how technology can become an enabler where people think about these things consciously and make smart choices.
Right. So, Mom, just a last question from you. Since DRIIV is Drive, which is under your guidance completely, so what are the steps you guys are thinking to take in the near future to keep India as it is, to keep India sustainable, and to make it more greener?
So basically, there are two challenges right now. I mean, there are many, but two challenges kind of stand out. One is lack of piloting opportunities for startups or researchers, right? Their solutions to stay in the lab. Second is lack of funding mechanism, particularly for mid-TRL technology. So we see a lot of VC funding coming into the play where digital technologies are concerned, but the technologies that are R&D related still require support system, which is not there. Right. So Drive is completely focused on addressing these two things by creating a platform and by creating these ecosystems, by partnering with the right set of people, like funds, like corporate CSR arms, like public bodies, like international bridges, where a real kind of ecosystem can be built and real help can be provided to researchers, to startups, both to pilot and then when the piloting is successful, to access funding.
If someone has a real life experience about this, and if someone has a real time thought about this, and they want to reach you somehow, like they want to reach Drive with their thoughts, with their innovations, and all these things, right? How can they reach you?
Yeah, so we have a website, and quite would encourage all of you to come and contact us. My email ID is there on the website, which is ceo@drive.co.in. Quite happy to take queries from you, quite happy to look at the innovative solutions that you bring and see how we can take it forward.
So guys, you can come up with your ideas to Dr. Shipra. She'll definitely be doing great with those ideas, and if your idea is one worthy idea, she'll make it the best out of it. Sure. And thank you, Dr. Shipra, for being with us, and thank you. Stay healthy. Bye-bye, guys.